Start streaming before you can stop.
It's good.
That's good. Okay.
Welcome.
So welcome, guys, to the CBE Talk Show.
Puppy breath.
As many of you guys have obviously read what's happened in the last couple of days over the weekend. Just a tragic event, really, in my opinion. The girl and the dog. It's just been really it's sad. It's sad for everybody involved. It's
never a good outcome.
No, it's not. It's a really sensitive subject as well. But this is what we're here tonight. We just want to sort of just have a chat to just talk about stuff to see what could have been prevented. Just to hear from people. We've had a post on Facebook. We've heard what people have had to say on Facebook. We've looked at a few different other outlets, media outlets, to see what other people had to say about the stuff, and it's been very controversial. Yeah. We have tried to track down one of the neighbours. They never got back to us. With a bit of a story, we're trying to get them on live, but that didn't happen. I did offer them money as well.
We tried. We
tried. So, but that didn't happen. But yeah, we just wanted to get to the bottom of this because it's it just sounds really weird, Mike. It's just such a it's not an attack really, where the kid and the dog were both out on the street running around, running amok. It's it's just very, very unfortunate. It's just crazy. It's people blaming the owners, people blaming the parents,
people blaming schools,
blaming schools,
blaming schools. Well, education, I guess, is what you'd probably call it.
Well, yeah. Well, that's that's a different one. Like blaming schools, I don't know how much the school would have to sort of to deal with all of this, but I guess everybody has their own opinion, and the school.
That's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it is. It's interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I'll just go to double check with you guys. You guys can see us and hear us, no problem whatsoever. Don't worry about the guy in the corner there waving. He does that on a regular basis. So hopefully you guys just let us know if at any time you've got trouble seeing us or hearing from us, and we'll try and adjust things as we go. So, all good from me, puppy breath. Your boys are doing well. No, not a peep out of them last night, which was good. We all got some sleep. That was really, really good.
Yeah, it's always nice.
So yeah, they're doing good. And yeah, we'll have them on the stream before you know it. Oh, Stuffy Girl. Look, we don't know exactly because we couldn't get in touch with the neighbour as we wanted to. But apparently the owners have decided to put the dog down. And that has been confirmed by different people, but again, we wanted to speak to the neighbour who might have better access to this information, but we couldn't get to it. So we don't know if the dog has actually been put to sleep or not, but I believe it has. It was the owner's choice. Is that right there, Elliot?
Yeah.
What was the Ingo there? This is
There was one person that said they knew the owner and sent them a message trying to get in touch with them.
Yeah.
They said they knew the owner, and the owner made the decision that it was best to put the dog down.
Okay.
Whether that was them sort of being peer pressured into it with all the media and that what, or whether they made that choice themselves, you can't really know without asking, sort of the owners themselves.
Yeah.
But I think it definitely has been put to sleep, unfortunately.
No. So just before we keep going forward, guys, what is your thoughts on this? The viewers at home. This is the reason why we put this show on, guys, because we want to interact with you guys. We want you guys to have your own say. What is your intake on this? Is this something that should have happened? Is this is this something that is sort of what is the best path forward from here on? Should the dog have been put to sleep? Did the owners make the right decision? It's obviously we can't sort of it would be really hard, I'm assuming, being in the owner's footsteps, because if
Mm.
your dog has mauled or has bitten a kid's hand, and as a result, they've actually had to cut this little girl's arm off.
It wasn't bitten off like everyone is reporting. Well, as most media outlets are reporting, it's been bitten off. It was not bitten off, which has been confirmed by the council. The child was grabbed above sort of the wrist, and the child had emergency surgery, and they couldn't save the hand. So yeah, it was about bitten there. So everyone saying it's been bitten off,
But it's not.
it hasn't been bitten off. It was bitten, and then to what extent, I guess we don't know. But it was obviously relatively bad for them.
For them to. Well, we don't know if it was like a full amputation or a half.
No, they
amputation.
said just above the elbow.
Just above the elbow.
I guess the bite was about there somewhere, and they couldn't save it, so it's just above the elbow. Just below the elbow, sorry.
Okay, so it is very. Yeah.
It's unfortunate for all parties.
Well, it does. It sounds like it. Like, 'cause it's just been really sort of stressful, I guess, from both sides of the family. The parents of the little girls involved. You know, you could probably think that they might be blaming themselves.
Could be.
Because for not watching these kids properly, or the person who was in charge. Because the story is, guys, that these kids were at a party. There was a party on the street. We believe it's one of those dead-end
cul-de-sac,
streets.
Yep.
There was a party there. The little girl that was bitten apparently knew the dogs. They knew the family. They're all from the same street, and they've played before.
Tight-knit community.
Yeah.
She was with her younger sister and about 6 other kids. And they apparently walked up a lane at the end of the cul-de-sac. And then that's when the girl reached under the hole in the fence, which we've actually got a photo of, which we'll put up in a little bit. Yeah, and that's when the bite took place. So it was about 3 o'clock on Saturday.
So 3 o'clock on the
3
afternoon.
o'clock on Saturday, yeah. That was what the councillors said.
Whew. Yeah, because I believe there's, you mentioned something before, Elliot, about a tradie working there and that his kids had played with the dog before.
There was a quote here from a tradesman that was working at that house that I think also lives in that area. He says, "I wasn't working at the property on Saturday, but it was just a terrible accident." He's also quoted as saying his daughter has actually played with those dogs. He said, "Who knows what happened? It could have thought it was a snake or something coming under the fence." So I actually got a picture here of the hole. Let me look at that one. So that's the hole that the child put the hand through in the attack. Well, bite, sorry, not attack.
Yeah, which makes things a little bit makes things worse, I guess, because the child has gone out of the way to stick a hand underneath there, and
Also, anyone that doesn't actually know, well, the dog was a Malamute. Anyone that doesn't know what a Malamute is or looks like, basically more or less an overgrown husky, a lot sort of
pretty much so,
bigger and stockier, and yeah, they can be very, very large. So leave that there for a little bit.
No, so yeah, I think we're just going to go through. I think
it doesn't sound like they were bad dogs. For the tradesman to be quoted publicly as saying that his children has played with those dogs before.
Yeah.
And there's 3 dogs on the property, not just a single property. Not just a single dog. It was actually 3.
Yeah, look, I don't believe that anybody in this situation here really is at fault. Like, it's just it's an unfortunate event. Like, it's just like it's just really, like, it's just hard to get your mind around it, because it's just so unusual type of accident to happen, or an incident to happen, where a little girl goes and puts a hand underneath the fence. And I only think that the fact is, it's not that the girl was not educated on how to properly approach animals or not. I think the girl knew the dogs, and that was it. That's why she just put her hand in underneath there. She goes, "I know the dogs. I've played with these dogs, or I've seen these dogs before."
I've got an 8-year-old sister, and I know that she definitely wouldn't stick her hand through a little hole, especially one like that, to a dog that she doesn't know. And she's got a disability as well, and I'm not saying that plays any role in anything, but it's kind of common sense, I would think, to a certain extent, if you don't know a dog.
Yeah, but if she didn't... See, this is where my sort of thinking comes in. If she didn't know the dog,
you wouldn't.
She wouldn't know that the dog was there to go and put her hand in underneath in the first place.
And if a dog's barking, you're not going to put your hand under there. So it's whether there's facts that aren't being released, that we don't know.
Yeah, well, it is. It's you're right there, Puppy Breath. It is. It's the fence is there. The dogs were fenced off.
It was in its own yard.
Because I do believe that the police said that they were not going to sort of prosecute or they were not going to press any charge.
Not pushing any charges.
Because the dogs were behind the fence. So if our source is 100% correct that the dogs have been put down, I think it's just purely
one dog has been put down, and the two dogs have actually been removed from the property. They're staying with friends, so they haven't been taken by custody, like by the police or anything, or the council. They've just been taken to live with or to stay with other friends, I think, until sort of everything catches up and they can figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to proceed.
Okay, so I think maybe it's just self guilt.
It could just be that it's like a lot of things. When it could just be, they're a little bit ashamed or upset that this has happened, and it's because it is a tight knit community. You can't sort of have that hanging over your head. Like if your dog has suddenly bitten your neighbour's dog, or your neighbour's daughter, whether it was an accident or not, that's still going to be lingering there. That's still always going to be in the background. Those dogs would never be viewed the same by those people. Whether the dog was in the wrong or right.
It is strange. So what we'll probably do, we'll just go with.
We've got a few emails
we've got a few emails from people. We're going through some of the comments. So I'll start. I put it up earlier today. As soon as we found out what was about to happen, we put up a little post on Facebook, and we got a bit of response here. And one of the ones that pretty much was very, one of the comments that sort of stood out was, it was from, I won't say the names of the people, they are on Facebook. If you really wanted to know who made the comments, you can just go on our Facebook page, Cannot Behaviour Spread Dog Psychology Centre on Facebook, and you'll be able to see it in the comments there. But a lady said, I'm putting myself out there for criticism here, but dogs shouldn't be human aggressive, full stop. If it is, get a behaviourist, have it assessed, and work with it. And children should be taught from a young age not to pass strange dogs. Disaster waiting to happen. I applaud the owners for having secure fencing and not letting their dog roam. I guess the only positive is that the child wasn't completely in the yard, or she could have lost her life, not just her hand. Sad for all involved, really. It is, if it's human aggressive, manage it properly. Sad outcome, but it's not rocket science and could have been prevented. So this is, like I was saying, this is the one that stood out the most for me on that Facebook page, as to the fact that a lot of people didn't necessarily have the right information out there, and they probably just think that it was a little girl just walking past, saw a dog and stuck a hand in. But again, we'll say it again, they knew each other. It was a tight-knit community. And
it was a cul-de-sac. It's hard to sort of not be a tight-knit community when you're
so teaching the kid here not to put their hands under the fence, or not to pat another dog. Like it's. I think that the girl, if she knew the dog, I don't think she would have gone up to the dog and patted.
Definitely not.
It was just,
definitely not. Especially the only way you'd really know a dog was there is A, if it's barking, B, if you've sort of seen it before. I mean, if you can hear it, that's a colour-bond fence. They're 6 foot tall. That's a sleeper, a pine sleeper. That's unfortunate. There's still a gap that's, probably, I don't know, from the picture it looks about 2 or 3 inches maximum.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that could get in there and they couldn't have that little area covered. That's secure enough for a dog not to be able to get out, but I suppose you're not really counting on someone sticking their hand through.
No, that's it. But look, see, I've looked at that picture over and over again. I've tried to sort of put myself in that situation. As a crazy person today, I went out the back and just sort of trying to mimic what was happening. So I put my hand under the fence to see what was happening. And one thing that struck me pretty sort of hard was the fact that I don't think, but this is just, obviously, this was just my own thoughts. This is my own way of sort of reasoning all this. I don't think that the dog was at the fence.
I don't think it was either.
Because the child was able to get her whole hand in, and she was bitten on the forearm. So I'm assuming that the kid has put a hand in and started calling the dog. So the dog sees this little thing just wiggling from underneath the fence and came over, because if the dog was right there, that was the first thing that went through my head. If the dog was right there,
We have a
the
caller.
hand would have bitten. Yeah, we had a caller.
All right. Hello, CBE Talk Show. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you? Who have we got?
That's Annalise Riley here.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear us?
You got Annalise?
Annalise.
Oh.
Yeah, we're still here, Annalise.
About this dog biting the child piece.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to hear you.
So if you mute the...
I think that the dog is definitely not at fault
Yep.
because he was behind his yard.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct there. The dog is definitely not at fault because it's the child has gone and put a hand under there. But at the same time, yeah, I'm not sure there is anybody to blame in this situation. Really, I think it's just a really bad, sad coincidence.
Definitely.
No, it says here on one of the comments the parents weren't there. The child was at a play date. So where was the person that was watching the child at the play date?
Well, yeah, they did say there was one adult watching. I think it was about 8 kids. So there was an adult there, but they haven't sort of said where the adult was.
Yeah.
Or what they were doing at the time. I would think, from my point of view, if I was an adult watching 8 kids, and you knew there was a dog in the area, you'd kind of if you knew there was a dog that the children didn't know, I think you'd be a bit more alert.
Yeah, but look, as a father, I think that it is very hard sometimes to keep an eye on 9-year-old, 8-year-olds.
Yeah,
they do have a lot. So yeah, look, it's I'm just really been trying to find somebody to blame, if you will, if that's the word to really use here. But I really can't see fault with anybody. I really just think it was just one of those bad accidents. It's just sort of like it's really hard to explain.
It's kind of not blame anyone, but blame everyone. It's like, yes, the dog bit, but dogs bite. Yes, the child put its hand under the fence, but it probably knew the dog. Yes, the parent wasn't there.
Thought it was something crawling under the fence like a snake or something.
Exactly.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, so look, it's really hard here to put a blame on somebody. It's I think we need to sort of try and figure out a way to move on and make sure that things like this don't happen again, which even though I really doubt that this will happen ever again, because this is just something that I've never heard of anything like this happening before.
That's not a good situation, that's for sure.
No, well, it isn't. It's that little girl, she's going to live with these scars, not just the physical scars, but the mental scars as well. Their parents, it's imagine just getting that phone call. Your dog's at the hospital, your daughter's at the hospital, hand has been bitten, and even the owners of the dog getting that phone call saying your dog has bitten someone. I think it's been extremely stressful for everybody.
I have just got an email from a lady named Cassie. I won't give out her last name. But she says the child did know the dog and has played with it before. The whole story isn't being told here, and the child probably assumed the dog would recognise her.
Okay.
So...
Do you want me to hang up so other people can call in?
Yeah, sure, no worries. Well, thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you.
And we appreciate your input.
Yeah, and I hope the dog gets to live a long, happy life.
Well, it's been, we don't know 100%. We will look more into this, but we've been told that the dog has been put down.
Oh, no.
Yep, the other 2 dogs, there was 3 of them, they've moved in with other family members, so there's no dogs on the actual property, but the dog in question, we believe, has been put to sleep. We're still trying to find out for 100%. We've been in talks with one of the neighbours. We're just waiting 100% confirmation.
Yeah. Oh, it's a shame.
It is. It's really, really sad.
It's a
Another star in
freak
heaven's
accident.
life.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, thank you very much for calling in, and we'll talk to you very soon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Cool. There you go.
Yeah, so it's
Puppy Breath asks, is the Malamute known for aggressive behaviour?
puppy breath. No, not necessarily. No, it's again, it comes down to where every dog can aggress. It doesn't come down to the breed.
Aggression's in everything.
That's exactly right. Because if you look at it,
Aggression's in these guys.
yeah, well, every living brain, like every living thing, has a genetic makeup that does include aggression. Humans have it. We all do it, and aggression is just behavior like any other. But is one breed sort of more prone to aggression than the other? No, I don't think so. Malamutes are a working breed. They can become a little bit more anxious than certain other breeds who are not of a working breed. But any working breed, really, if they're not doing a job, if they don't have enough mental and physical stimulation, they can become
build up energy.
Yeah, they'll become more sort of. They will have a lot more energy to them. They'll have a lot more anxiety to them, and they could show or display more or just about a few more issues in and around the house, maybe chewing and digging and things like that. But are these dogs more prone to aggression? No, definitely not. No, don't think so.
Just going back to the fence, I think from my point of view, if that was my yard and I had Malamutes, I would classify that hole as secure. They're a big dog. I'm not counting on someone or something to come in. I'm trying to stop my dogs getting out. And a Malamute is not going to go through that hole. A hole 2 or 3 inches, it won't happen.
Yeah, I can see the comment on the chat here from Kerry. To me, it looks like that at the bottom, there is an actual sleeper
that has fallen away
into the ground, or that's in the actual ground to prevent the dogs from digging. So that is 100% a secure fence to me.
That's to me a secure fence. I've got bigger holes than that at home, and I don't have a Malamute. I have a smaller dog than a Malamute, and I would still classify my fencing as secure. You're not counting on a hand to come through. If you want to nitpick any sort of fence, especially child's hand, it's half the size of mine.
Yeah,
it can go through anything.
Yeah,
like a little gap like this. Look.
Yeah,
if you guys can see that. That's a tiny gap. That's that by that. I can fit my hand through there if I wanted to. So this child, obviously, I think, must have known the dog. And that person said that did know the dog.
Yeah. Stuffy Girl's asking, do you know if the dogs were tied up? Nah, look, I don't think the dogs were tied up at all. I think the media just needed to sort of create a little bit of a drama or just a little bit more of an output, really, but there's no signs of the dogs being tied up. I don't think that. If they were tied up,
I think by restrained they meant contained in their yard.
Yeah, probably.
I think because they are restrained, they're in their yard. They can't get out. They didn't escape. They didn't go looking for this bite. They obviously weren't being aggressive at the fence, because if they were, I would assume the adult would have gone, "Hey, come away from that fence," or the child would have gone, "This dog's going crazy. Maybe I shouldn't put my hand under the fence."
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so
I've got a quote here from someone. It says, "Malamutes and Siberian Huskies are extremely territorial dogs. That little girl had no right to stick her hand under the fence without first getting to know the dog and let it get to know her. It's in its backyard. If you start to put dogs down who are in their own home, then none of our dogs are safe anymore. Child's fault, parents' fault, not the dog. The dog was guarding their territory." So that was from an anonymous.
Yeah. So we've got Annalise here that said that it wouldn't matter if the dogs were tied up or not. They were in their own yard, and the owner have a colour-bond fence for protection and security. Look, it's... And then again, like, if you're thinking about it, like, say, you go back onto the subject of the dogs, were they tied up or not, what would they do? Like, why would they say there must have been there was 3 of the dogs. So if you're tying up 3 dogs in the backyard, they would get tangled up. They would just sort of. I don't think. No, it doesn't make sense to me to think that any of the dogs were tied up. So I think the media was sort of just trying to either create conversation or trying to get out there. But then again, see, it looks like it's in the corner of the house. The pictures that we saw were in the corner of the house. So I don't think they would have tied up a dog near a corner of the house unless it was the only shady place. But look, I definitely don't think that the dogs were tied up. It's funny enough, I've got a quote here on one of the comments on the Facebook page that we had from Michael. Is, "I'm just surprised the dog wasn't labelled a pit bull by the media."
Yeah.
Usually, that's the first thing that they jump on. And it is right. Yeah, it's
true.
Usually it's a pit bull, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
So it's
Even if it's not a pit bull, it's a pit bull.
Yeah, exactly. So it's because that's the thing. It's again, and the word that he used is labeled. We had this talk a couple of weeks ago about humans labeling things.
Not just taking them for what they are.
Well, that's exactly right. And here it's just a perfect sort of instance where throughout everything that we've read today, people are trying to label things. You know, they're trying to say the dog was bad, the kid was bad. There was somebody on our Facebook page, which I think it was unnecessary for the post, but everybody has their own right. They can say whatever they want to say, of course, as long as they're not being rude.
Yeah,
or attacking
not
somebody
jumping on you,
else.
Steffi girls. Completely welcome any opinion here.
Yeah, and it said the kid should be put down. That is just ridiculous.
It's a very left-wing opinion. But
yeah, it's
every
the kid should
opinion's
be put
welcome.
down. Look, it's I'm a father, and to me, the kids would definitely come before the dog. That's that's a given.
Yeah. Here's another, I guess, sort of left-wing opinion. The dog should 100% be put down. We're not talking about just a bite from a dog, but a severe mauling. Her whole hand had to be amputated. The onus should be on the owners of the dogs. Why on earth was there 3 dogs that aggressive in 1 yard? Pack mentality served one of these dogs, and the child paid the price.
I think the person talking there is just misinformed. Doesn't necessarily mean that they know anything about dogs at all.
Yeah. Well,
pack mentality. I think.
Who's to say it wasn't the small one that bit the dog?
Yeah, look,
it doesn't
to me,
necessarily.
I think that if it was more than one dog that had a go at the child, I think that the doctors, the councils, they would have they would have been on that because there would have been proof. It's just no, I don't think, mate, the pack mentality works. I don't think the dog should have been put down because nobody's at fault here. This is, again, we can go around in circles, I think, talking about the same stuff over and over again. But no, the dogs are not at fault. This is not...
the person blaming the schools, his name's Ben, he's blaming the education system, saying if that child had have got a better education, they would have learnt at school that you don't pat strangers' dogs. I never got taught at school not to pat dogs.
Me neither.
I don't know what school he went to.
I'm not sure. Well, I don't think,
Did any of you guys watching get taught at school not to pat dogs that you don't know? I don't.
No, well, I
definitely not at school.
No. Well, that's just ridiculous. So it's maybe something that they should probably look a little bit more into, and it's just sort of about
Kind of like
teaching kids and dogs.
Like stranger danger, I guess.
Yeah, well, sort of, yeah, typical.
But even I didn't get taught that at school.
Yeah. Did you even go to school?
Oh, yeah.
Some days?
Hey, I does good English.
I does good English, that's awesome. Yeah, but yeah, no, look, I don't think it's the education system hasn't failed anybody.
Yeah.
I
disagree with that point, but
it is a bit of a...
It doesn't hurt to, I mean, maybe chuck that in there occasionally, say, kids, don't touch dogs you don't know. But it's something you get a child with oppositional disorder, and you say, don't do that, they're gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that... So here we've got another comment that was on the...
Oh, that's good, Steffi. No, that's definitely not... That's not a bad thing at all. I was just curious whether they actually told people that told children that at school. It's good.
Yeah, well, then look, and then again, why can't I see the stream? Just reload the stream, reload your page, Kerry. It might pop up.
Sometimes if you're watching on a phone as well, you got to close it and open it a few times before it'll work. But it should, definitely work.
Yeah, it should be there. There's nothing on this side. We're not dropping frames, so you should be able to. So just reload the page, Kerry, and it might sort of come back up again.
That's a good thing. They get told that in kindergarten.
Yeah, well, I didn't know. Well, maybe because
definitely a good thing. That's 100% a good thing, I think.
Well, kindergarten for me was
I don't remember kindergarten. I remember yesterday.
At least 28 years ago.
38.
28, buddy.
What are you?
I definitely didn't get that taught. And not any of my kids that go to school at the moment, I don't know that they're being taught any of this. There was Madison. She did have something at school with the trainer that went out with dogs and sort of taught them how to approach dogs and this and all that. But I am 100% sure that the fact of not putting your hand under a fence
Show 'em Staffy girl.
At school would not have crossed anybody's mind because it's not something that happens on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I think we can get rid of that fence now.
Yeah, I'll chuck that.
So the fence is gone.
Staffy girl can see our little bag of treats there. We got a jumbo one tonight.
Yeah.
We finally learnt.
So I wonder if Kerry's back with us. Can you see the stream now?
Yeah, if you guys want to call up, feel free. Any opinions welcome. Left wing, right wing, bizarre, whatever you want to say about it. Voice your opinion.
So
Tell him his hat looks stupid. I don't mind.
the hat's beautiful.
The hat's nice, just where it is not so good.
Good on you, mate. A lot
yeah?
of the school had visits for pets therapy. Okay.
That's good. I suppose nowadays it's a lot more safe for children, I guess. Like, when I was a kid, there was no sort of that rubber, I don't know, you guys what it's called, on the playgrounds, it's like, it's not concrete anymore. It's like, what is it? It's
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 just,
like rubber padding, basically. You fall off and you just bounce back up.
yeah.
If I fell off, I was
different.
falling on concrete. So
Yeah.
I guess they're kind of protecting kids a lot more nowadays these days. So
Yeah, look, it is. We are like the times are changing. I remember as a kid, when I was a kid, and this is
400 years ago.
yeah, good on you. About 400 years ago, as he says.
12 AB.
Yeah, I was bitten a few times.
Did you know the dogs?
Sorry?
Did you know the dogs?
No, I didn't know the dog, but it was a friend of mine's dog, and we went out to his grandfather's farm, and I'm just standing there, and I put my hand, and I was about 6 or 7 years old. I ended up putting my hand on the house, and the dog jumped me and it bit me in the inside of my leg. I remember.
What was it?
Oh, it was just a mongrel,
Something?
just a mix of stuff,
Uh-huh.
And it bit me up right on the inside of my groin.
Youch!
Yes, it
Tender.
was painful.
That would have hurt.
I remember going home and telling my dad, and
Not doing that again.
no, I copped a smack in the back of the head, and to just
Tough
just
love.
be a little bit more
Grow up,
careful
mate.
next time, and they should know better growing up around dogs
Jump
how
out
to
of the way
approach the
faster.
dog, and so it was very different back then, and I'm sure
tough
that if
love.
I would have gone to the police or somebody, they would have all laughed at me and kicked me out of there. It's
Yeah, definitely.
different times that we're living in. Very quick these days to judge on the pets. Very quick to try and push that button, or very quick to try and give these injections to the dog to put these dogs to sleep. It's very different. And there was an interesting comment here from a dog trainer in New Zealand. She's a friend of ours, and she says, "Dogs are dogs, kids are kids. The fault is equal. No one can guarantee complete safety from life. All we can do is our best to remain awake, pay attention, and provide the best safety we can." And that was probably definitely by far the best comment on the whole page. It's true. You can't provide or you can't guarantee complete safety from life. It's just how it is, and accidents will happen. And yeah, it's just really, really spot on. Hit it right on the head there. Yeah.
This is a good one. You can tell me what you think of this one. It's a guy called Stevie. He said, "I think the dog needs to be put down right now. As it has attacked a human, tasted blood, it will definitely become more aggressive and attack again."
Damn it! I wish I had one of those shirts.
Which one?
Relax. It's a people, not a freaking
Yeah,
shark.
that's it. They don't get a taste for... Where do people get a taste for blood? Where did that even start?
I don't know. It's probably some old
And he
wild
said
style.
definitely will do it again. I would like to meet this person and say, okay, what facts do you have to back that up?
Yeah, well, that's just.
If that's the case, why are they not... If they've got blood in their meat, why are they not suddenly searching that out? Or
Yeah, I don't think it's that.
It's
I think
bizarre.
it's just a thing. It's just a funny thing to
scare
say these
tactics,
days.
I guess.
It's got a taste for blood, and now it's going to do it again. If that was the case, I'm pretty sure that it probably came down from Cujo,
It's Cujo.
the movie. You never seen Cujo?
No.
The dog
Is it good?
that gets rabies and he goes around killing everyone.
What?
You've never seen it?
No. Have you guys seen Cujo?
Stephen King.
Cujo.
Guys, are you guys able to
I
throw?
love Stephen King.
Are you able to throw something through the screen at this guy's head? Mate, Cujo. You got to look it up. It's a lot of people used to say it was a Rottweiler. It's not a Rottweiler. It's a big San Bernard. He gets rabies,
Oh, hang on.
and he's
Saint
just
Bernard. That's
he goes to town.
That's the that's
killing
what
people.
Beethoven is, isn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. I
Yep.
didn't know it was called Cujo, but
So yeah, I think that's
now
saying it right.
Yes, now I can.
So we got Annalisa
It
says,
started
"I've
from
been
Blood and Greyhounds. Oh, live Beethoven.
Okay.
Yes.
Look at my comment," she said. We just said, yeah, from Blood and Greyhounds. But they use that with other animals as well. The shark gets a taste for blood, and now he's searching for it. They get the taste for blood. The lion gets a taste for blood. So I think it's just a human attribute. I think that they just put into it. It's just a good way of for a human to explain certain behaviors and certain things.
Kind of. Just
Okay, so here's somebody else again from the Facebook page who said, "I saw a child recently walk up and sit between two restrained dogs outside a pet food shop. The child's parents were watching. The shepherd bit the child's hand, her head, and was lowered than both dogs sitting. The owners didn't notice the child as they were focused on a conversation. The dogs didn't move until the child lifted her hand to pat them. Parents are at fault, in my opinion, not controlling or teaching the child."
See, that dog would get in trouble
Yes, well, this is to me,
in public.
things like this in public. It's really, really close to my heart. It was really home. It was when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and my dad, we used to have a lot of German shepherds. We had this one German shepherd that was my dog. His name was Lupin. There he is. It's tattooed right there on my arm. Lupin. And he was in the car. We were at Wiley Park, Woolworths, and my dad was putting stuff in the car, and I was just sitting on the trolley. The dogs were inside, and obviously my visions of this memory as well, it's a little bit blurred. But there's a few incidents from that time that I actually do remember really clearly. It was what was described to me as some junkies tried to snatch me out of the trolley, and Lupin broke out of the back window. The German Shepherd broke out, jumped out of the car, went over, grabbed the lady by the legs, and bit her and started dragging her onto the ground. So it is very touchy for me because the dog was made. They made my dad put the dog to sleep.
Even though it potentially saved
though that it did potentially save my life. It did, really, because if my dad hadn't seen it and they could have run off, they had the car there, it's just really it's just a very sort of funny thing. So, but that's the thing, is just that it's, because you can't live, apparently you can't live in a life of what if they were just picking you up to give you a cuddle. What if it was not exactly here, Wetherell Park, that's it, it's a great place. That's my wife there, her baby. Yeah, it's just really, really sad. The dog saved my life. My dad had no doubt that these people were going to take me. They were going to pick me up and give me a hug. Why would you do that to a strange kid? So they were just going to take me, and the dog saved my life, but he's at his own expense. Yeah. So there's funny laws out there, I guess.
Yeah, they don't take into account the people that were stealing a child. Like, that just gets overlooked. It's like, no, this child bit you. Oh, this dog bit you.
Yeah, well, I guess
regardless of what the circumstances were. And I would put them as pretty extenuating circumstances.
Well, it's what you can prove, not what you know or what it might be. It's always down to the fact of what you can prove. So, so what other we got? There was a lot of comments. There was a lot of people expressing
a fair bit of hatred actually towards Malamutes as a breed. This was definitely interesting. Yeah, it's it was Clara or Kiara. I can't remember which name. It was spelt bizarrely. One of those very really weird spelt names. It says, "We're not talking about a little nip here. The child lost her hand. People need to wake up. She lost her hand. It's tragic on both sides. Kids are very quick, and you self-righteous people that were saying the parents are to blame. I hope you have your eyes on your kids every second of the day. Yes, it was the dog's territory, but an overly territorial animal can be dangerous, and maybe the Alaskan Malamute should be on the dangerous dog list. This is the second attack on a child this year. A baby was attacked earlier this year without even being provoked. Bottom line, the dog attacked the child. It should be put down. It's the law. If my dog mutilated my child, I would not hesitate to put it down, whatever the situation. It wasn't an attack. It was a bite.
Yeah.
That you can't classify today as an attack because
Well, today, Saturday.
Sorry, yeah, wait, Saturday. You can't classify what we're talking about as an attack, in my opinion, because I don't think it's an attack.
No, well, it isn't. It's not.
It's not an attack. Yes, there was a baby that was attacked earlier this year. Well, bitten. I don't think it was attacked either.
Yeah, it was bitten on the face. Yeah, I
Bitten on
remember
the
that.
face.
Was not very long ago.
Yeah, bitten on the face. I don't think Malamute should be on the dangerous dog list. 2 attacks, like, well, 1, I guess 1 and a third, if you really want to classify this as any form of an attack. She's kind of jumped on everyone there. Jumped on the people, then jumped on the children saying they're quick, jumped on the parents, saying, I hope you have your eyes on your kids every day. Like, if my dog mutilated my child, I don't have any hesitation to put it down, whatever the situation.
Yeah, well then, but, so, if her dog was to mutilate her child or bite a child, she would be at fault. So she would be exactly what she's trying to blame other people for. Look, it's, this person obviously needs to get a life. Why would any dog need to be on the dangerous dog list? You say, this is, again, you can't label a dog dangerous and it's going to fix the problems. You can't.
What was it, 70s Doberman?
Yeah, well, they just keep doing it.
90s?
It's just going to keep going and going.
Look, if we eliminate every single breed, as soon as we eliminate one breed or blame that breed and then we get over blaming that breed, it'll just go to something else.
Well, it's just easier, I guess. It's well, that's the look. We're with you on this, Gary. Every dog can be dangerous. It's sad. Look, it's
yeah. That's it.
It's just life.
They're animals as well. They are animals.
It's life. There's going to be accidents. Like it's you can't sort of
knock myself out on that.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right.
I didn't blame a tree. It's not the wood's fault.
Yeah.
Well,
look, it's firefighters do what they love doing, and a lot of them die.
Yeah.
We can't say that it's an unsafe job. It needs to be that you can't go and blame certain dogs or certain breeds. Life is what it is. There's always going to be accidents in life. Life is not going to be secure. It's not. It is just the way it is. There's going to be certain things. We're coming into contact with animals. We're coming into like, for example, in North America and Alaska and all those places where they're getting all these wild animals because of the humans overtaking their habitat and moving closer and closer to population, and they're running into each other on a daily basis, and there's causing a lot of trouble. People are getting hurt. People are getting headbutted by moose, by caribous. Why don't we go out and start pulling those dogs? Why don't we go and put those animals down? Why don't we put them on the dangerous list, saying that these are dangerous, they could kill somebody, and they have killed people?
Prime example, sharks. We know they're there. We know exactly what they're capable of. We still swim in the water. They're not hunting us. People get eaten, people get attacked, and we blame them. Hang on a minute. They were here well before us, and they're going to be here, well, hopefully, long after us. If we keep going and keep blaming them.
No, not the way that the humans are, mate. We'll be happy only when we've destroyed everything.
We'll have nothing, and then we'll go, oh, maybe we should start cloning them to get them back. Well, we shouldn't have destroyed them in the first place. Yep, that's exactly it.
Yeah, well, that's right there. My wife has just made a good point there. Just, can you imagine somebody touching you through your window randomly? What would you do, and wouldn't you not smack it?
Dogs can't smack. That is their smack.
Yeah, but the point is...
It was a good one. When I say good one, this was sort of a whoa one. From Warren Taylor.
Warren Taylor.
All of the dogs in the backyard should be put down immediately. I bet all of them had a go at the child's hand, which now has now left a scar on the child both mentally and physically for life. Those dogs are dangerous and will definitely attack again.
We've got that mature audience thing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Warren, you're an idiot, mate. If you're watching this, you're an idiot, mate. You're just an outraged idiot. I think you're just talking out of your backside. you're talking out of your backside, mate.
Right, mate.
Not going to hold back on this one, buddy, but yeah, get a life. You're not there. Nobody was there. We are here to discuss these things. We're trying to make sense of something that.
And you just want to jump on them
and you just want to jump on it and just saying that all the dogs should be put down. They're going to do it again, mate.
I'm pretty sure if all 3 dogs had a go, then the 2 other dogs, which obviously didn't have a go, wouldn't just have been taken to live with relatives for the time being. They would have probably had action taken against them as well. You can't just generalise and say, "Oh my God, they're going to attack again."
Yeah,
no, they didn't attack.
Either you've got some sort of a hatred towards certain animals, whether you don't like the breed, mate. If I don't know, probably just go and talk to somebody, but that's just full out hatred, and that's not good. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for the general population at all, mate. And yeah, look, definitely next time, mate, keep those sort of thoughts to yourself because the dogs are dogs. They're animals, mate.
We do welcome all opinions and stuff, but
yeah, well, with the opinions that you give, mate, I'm going to give mine back, and that was like the dumbest thing I've heard this year.
There is the MA warning: opinions like arseholes. Everyone has one. Another one from Sophia said, "How about the owners of dogs teach their dogs not to bite? A child should never, in capital letters, never ever be blamed for the behaviour of an untamed, in capital letters, animal. This girl has to live the rest of her life maimed, yet you all feel sorry for the dog."
Oh. I could probably try and understand where you're coming from there. Was it Elisa or something?
Who's to say they're untamed?
Well, that's exactly right. It's just
Who's to say they aren't trained?
What it was there, the fact, what's happening was I think it was a lot of the media and the way that the media threw it out there.
The hand ripped off. The hand
was ripped
savaged.
Off. I don't think they gave.
But that's it. It's media is scare tactics. They don't necessarily journalism these days. They don't dig and dig and dig like they used to. They kind of go, okay, this dog ripped this kid's hand off. Bang, let's run with that.
Well, that's it. The headline's going to drag a lot of people.
Bang, hand ripped off, and everyone's like, oh my God, and then they actually go, oh well.
And it's going to cause a lot of stuff. Nobody here is blaming the child, and nor should they blame the child because it's not. There's no one is at fault here. It's like you're saying today. I've been trying to sort of think about if you wanted to blame somebody, or if somebody needed to be blamed, who would you blame them? There's absolutely nothing or no one that you could sort of blame. It's hard. It's not very good. It's really hard.
That's it, Kerry. Everyone's a professional when it comes to these sort of things, and unfortunately, it's not healthy for anyone.
Look, dogs are animals, right? Now, even to say, for example, this is not the case, of course, but even though that those dogs were owned by a dog trainer or by a behaviourist, and those people were not in that yard at that time, and something had put its hand up there, or a child or anything would have put their hand up there, there could have been a good chance that dog would have bitten.
When you're asleep tonight, I'm going to pull my hand through the window, and if I don't feel my hand removed, something will be very wrong. Like, if you're sleeping and suddenly this comes through the window, you're going to freak out, mate, you know?
You're creepy.
Exactly, creepy. You're going to go, and cut it off, or grab it, or punch it.
It is like, it's really strange. I was having a look today at, just going and having a look at things on the internet, as we always do, just sort of look around and see what was there. And I found, I think this is obviously, I think it was in America somewhere, because I've never heard of it before, that a man shot Beagle with a pellet gun and sued family when he was bitten. I don't know the whole story of it all. But
he shot the dog with a pellet gun.
Yes. He
and then sued the family when the dog bit him.
But that's not even the best part of it all. He was awarded $14,500 plus medical expenses after he was bitten on the butt by the next door neighbour's dog.
He shot the neighbour's dog with a pellet gun, got bitten, and then sued the neighbour. And won. I'm done.
So,
I'm done.
But wait, it gets even better.
But wait, there's more.
The Beagle was chained in the owner's fenced yard.
Chained?
Yep, the Beagle was chained.
God.
Okay? And the person, the burglar, or the
intruder,
whatever
you want to call
that was shooting the dog with pellets, with a pellet gun, didn't get as much as he wanted because the judge had decided that probably the Beagle might have been provoked.
Oh my!
He repeatedly shot the dog with the pellet gun.
You know what, mate? I reckon you might have provoked that bite.
Could have. I don't know. I think that dog didn't like the way that he looked, and it might have bitten him on the ass.
It had nothing to do with the pellets. It was his hat.
But this is the thing. So, how the system, it is so screwed up. Why does this guy get paid $40,500 plus medical expenses if he's bitten on the butt by a dog
That he shot.
who is, forget the shooting, who is chained up
Yeah.
in his own backyard
Yeah.
with a secure fence?
Oh, society.
Why
mate.
is this guy so?
That's very.
This is what we're dealing with these days.
It's there's not even a grey area anymore. It's just like human, and it's just
it's a different kind of.
human can do no wrong. It seems no matter what we do, we can somehow justify. Oh no, I wasn't in the wrong. I mean, yeah, okay, I shot the dog a few times. Whatever, it bit me. Give me like money. Wait, what?
It's just so like it's crazy. It is it's to me that is absolute madness. But to go off a little bit, to go off topic here, and to leave the dogs and all these incidents for a second or two, I think this happened a couple of years ago. But when I was reading it today, I was sort of like taken aback, and I was like, wow, this here is something to sort of think about. Why didn't I think of this? Like, this is just genius from the guy. There's an idiot, really.
Okay,
He sued
I'm waiting.
Winnebago.
Yeah.
After he put it in cruise control, went in the back to have a sleep, and he smashed the Winnebago. He smashed it, going at 70 miles per hour. And he actually no, sorry, he didn't have a sleep. He went to make himself a sandwich, and the motorhome left the freeway and crashed and overturned.
Miracle.
Yeah, are you ready? He got awarded $1.7 million and a new motor vehicle, a home vehicle.
Wow. I can probably almost top one up that one.
And the Winnebago have actually changed their manual now to say that the cruise control cannot be left. So if you have a look now, and you'll see that there is something a little bit strange about the Winnebago and the manual and the way that the cruise control works.
So you
can thank this person here who sued and got $1.7 million.
So there's another good one like that, also American. I think that was American, wasn't it?
I don't know where that was, but damn, man, that was just all sorts of crazy.
This one was American. He sued Red Bull. You guys all know Red Bull, the energy drink. Its slogan is, Red Bull gives you wings. So this guy, he drank Red Bull every day for a year, and then proceeded to sue Red Bull for $15 million because he didn't have wings at the end of the year, and won.
Wow.
He won $15 million compensation because he didn't grow wings from an energy drink.
That's
the best way to win $15 million ever.
Why aren't we coming up with these things?
I don't know.
What if I tomorrow decide to put the Holden in cruise control and go and take a nap at the back and then sue them?
It's been done.
But that was in America.
Yeah, but I think insurance companies wised up and said they have like a "don't be an idiot" clause.
Yeah.
Telstra. It used to be that if you fell in a broken pit, it was their fault. Nowadays, a pit being where the phone lines are on the ground, on the sidewalk. Nowadays, all they have to do is spray sort of like a high visibility marking on it, so they have shown that they know it's broken and they're going to get to it. If you fall in it, it's your own fault because you have a duty of care to have noticed that high visibility marking. Because you used to be able to walk and see a broken pit and jump in it, and you could sue Telstra.
Yeah.
And they went, uh-oh, and just said, okay, now we're going to wake up and fix that.
So now going back to the incident that we had with the girl putting her hand in under this fence, I just thought of this.
For anyone that just tuned in that doesn't know what the hole actually looked like, I'll put that back up as well.
There we go. So we'll put this back up here because I just wanted to say something here. What would have happened, or what would happen in this instance here, and what would be the right way to proceed about this, if the little girl or a person or anybody else had put their hand under that fence and a tree or a brick or something fell down and crushed their hand? Would they try to be suing the owners?
I would say so. Everyone's out for a cheap buck. That's the problem. It's no longer, people don't help each other.
And based
Everyone is out to get everyone.
on what we have just read and seen today,
They'd probably win.
they probably would have won.
They'd probably sue Colorbond and say your fences don't meet the ground. Doesn't matter whether it's sloping or not. Your fences don't, or whatever company it is, it doesn't line the ground properly. Bang. I had to put a rock there because your product didn't secure my yard, and the rock that I had to put there because your product didn't secure it fell on me. I got injured. Bang. I want money.
Yeah, look, it's...
I wouldn't doubt it. I'm sure someone's either tried it or has done it.
Yep.
And won. Because, yeah.
Look, it's sickening. But, yeah, I'd really be curious to see if that was either bricks, a tree. What if the person had rats in the house and had a rat trap and break the little girl's hand or the person's hand or whatever's hand? Would you sue the owners for negligence?
It seems like everyone, I'd like to see what the owner has to say about, if the owner does come out, I don't know, whether the child actually did know the dog. Because...
It's there, mate. It's plain as day.
I think
convinced,
the evidence kind of points to it.
Yeah, I'm convinced that they knew the girl knew the dog.
To some extent. Whether it's played with it or not. To some extent.
How would you know that the dog's actually there?
Yep.
Again, that goes back to that theory of mine. If you had put your hand in and the dog was behind the fence, the first thing you would have bitten was your hand. She got bitten on the upper arm, so the arm was in,
the whole way in,
shaking it about, calling the dog,
or patting, or
and the dog
something.
all it heard was just a nauseous noise with this little snake-like thing just hanging over the top, and it got bitten.
There's another lady here that says the parents are at fault. The child may love animals, but parents need to make sure their child knows not to go up to any animal and just pat it, especially not under a fence.
Oh.
There's a high chance that child probably did know. Don't pat random dogs. But I'm still convinced that child knew that dog.
You can, because you know what happens is, this is what happens, right? As we get older and older, we forget what we were like when we were a lot younger. When I was a kid, I used to, because I grew up in Sicily, of course, it's very different than here. You make your own fun, you're not sitting in front of the computer watching TV or playing PlayStations. We would go out and make our own fun. And when I was about nearly 9 years of age, we were going running around in this farm, and there was this house and this wooden door, and it had a hole in it. So I needed to see what was on the other side.
As you do.
Yeah, of course, as a kid.
You're not going to not put your eye through it. Look.
Well, that's it. Yeah, exactly. And I put my eye through it to go and have a look to see what was in the other side. And luckily that the door was thick enough, but I nearly lost my eye because there was chickens on the other side and a rooster tried to peck my eye out.
I'm going to go with sucked in on that one, but...
Well, that's exactly what would have happened back then.
Lesson learned.
That's what would have happened back then. Today,
that
guy...
Put that rooster
put his
down.
chicken
It attacked
rooster
me.
down. Yeah, exactly.
It had a knife and a shotgun. Came straight at me. Put it down.
We're in different times. It's just really, everybody's just very quickly out there to sort of either provoke or they're out there to sort of look for trouble. We've got another email.
From Monica.
Monica.
Says, it's interesting to see so many people defend the dog for ripping this child's hand off. Yet when people go to other people's houses and their cat scratches them on the leg, and gets scared and swipes and scratches them on the leg, you guys aren't so quick to jump and hate the cats and say things like, cats are vicious, they need to be put down. A very good point. Because there's a lot of times, like, you walk into someone's house and you see this cat just go bang and scratch you on the leg, and what the hell? Like, why aren't people blaming the cat?
Because there is no blame here to be have.
It just seems like we just want to blame everything. We want to blame everything. It is what it is.
Well, the responsibility that you can't even take responsibility in situations like this. You just want to sort of man up, if you will.
The dog is in its own yard.
And you've just got to accept this as a freak of nature. You just got to accept this as the bad.
Alright, let's press one button.
Yeah, Kerry, there is a lot of different things out there. The parents of the child was not there. They were having some sort of a party. There was one adult in charge of looking out for 8 kids. And the kids were out about. It's a tight-knit community by the sounds of things. It's a no-through road. I think they were just playing and the kid knew the dogs and went and put her hand under there. There's no other explanation.
The The neighbours said they heard screams and ran out and comforted the girl's younger sister and the other children who had witnessed the event while attending to her injuries. That didn't say anything about barking, carrying on, anything.
Yeah.
So, all these people saying, they're aggressive. You would think you would hear another something. You wouldn't think it would just end there.
Well, there's a good point there from Kerry. Kerry's saying that the kid and her sister went for a walk, then happened upon the fence. So who is at fault? The child for not staying at a house, and the adult for not going to the yard fence. So who's at fault? The child for not staying in the house.
Like you said yourself, good luck watching those children for every second of every day.
Oh, it's
children
just
are children.
hard,
They walk off. They see a butterfly. Poof, they're gone. They see a dog with a fluffy tail. Oh, look, dog with a fluffy tail.
Yeah.
It
is. Look, it's very hard, mate. It's just look, I know it's not the same here, and some people are going to probably take this out of context, which is fine, and a lot of people do. That's not an issue, but see, when we have an environmental catastrophe and people die from it, who do you blame? You don't blame anybody, really, because it's just happened. You accept it and you move on. Now, I'm not saying this is an environmental catastrophe or anything, but this is just one of those incidents where it's very, very hard for anybody to get a grasp on, or to have an actual proper and intelligent
discussion
reason to why this could have happened or how this could have been prevented, because it's hard. It's very hard. The adult that was supervising the kids, yes, the adult could have been supervising the kids, but what if one of the other 8 kids fell over and hurt his knee and he got hurt and started crying, and the men went over there and looked at the kid while the other ones kept on going and doing what they were doing? So it is very, very hard. The owners of the dogs, why wasn't the fence secure? To me, that looks very secure. I'm happy with that, and I think they're all are. So I think that what we could learn from here is that sometimes we do have incidents. Sometimes we just need to accept these things the way that they are. The owner, by the sounds of things, has made the choice to put the dog down. It is very sad. As an animal lover, as a dog lover especially, it is very sad to hear, but what's been done is being done. And sometimes these things do happen in life, and it's just sad and unfortunate.
I found as well from Lisa. It says, "It's too late. Unfortunately, the dog has been put down. The dog was doing what comes naturally to it. The little girl was doing what naturally comes to her, as children do, in wanting to pat dogs. Let's see it for what it was, and that's a tragic accident that no one can benefit from."
Well, that's exactly what it is there, Lisa.
For exactly what it is.
I think that's one of the best things I've heard all night. It is. It's just a tragic.
It is what it is.
Yep. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. It's tough.
Yeah, it is, Kerry. You're right. It's called an accident, and there's not much we can do about it.
Exactly. But it happened. Look at me smashing my head on that. Accidents happen.
That's not an accident.
That was an accident.
That was planned.
I planned to knock myself out.
No, I did. I made sure that you did.
You moved it through. You've been moving a half an inch every day, haven't you?
Every time, mate. Make sure that you did smash your face in.
Yeah, I definitely don't like people labeling the dog, even labeling it as an attack, let alone labeling the dog as vicious.
Look, it's not. Gary, the dog's not vicious. A dog like that should not be labelled vicious. Any dog should not be labelled vicious until the dogs have been properly assessed, and not just by the RSPCA or by somebody at the council or a council ranger. I don't think, I could be wrong as well, but I'm not 100% sure that these guys are actually suited to make these calls. The RSPCA are a lot better than obviously the council are, but vicious dogs, look, what constitutes a vicious dog? Today we had a couple of people come in that they've got 2 Siberian Huskies. Funny enough, at the moment it's all happening, isn't it?
Yeah, well.
Now, the 2 Siberian Huskies, that their dog was declared dangerous about 4 years ago because one of the dogs attacked and killed a cat. So it was slapped with a dangerous dog order.
Both of them were.
Both of them, and the dogs are being declared cat aggressive.
What?
Well, that's exactly right. cat aggressive. What is cat aggression? The dog does not. Dogs don't hate cats. I know there's this big belief and this way of thinking and the way of saying things. The dog hates the cat. It's like the relationship with cat and dog, and it's been going back. Tom and Jerry. It goes back for like nearly 100 years. It's exactly the same. Makes as much sense as a dog's. It's got a sense. It's got the smell of blood now. It's exactly the same. It's just prey drive. But because the cat is somebody's pet, and obviously there is a certain degree of hurt there from the owners of the cat, but because that's somebody's pet, that's why the dogs are being declared dangerous. Now these dogs have been living in their cage for the last pretty much 4 years. They've happened to be muzzled all the time. When they go out a lot of the time, and the dogs are showing a lot of unwanted behaviours because of the fact that they can't just live their life like they normally would, which is, it makes you think like there should be a different way of dealing with cases like this, because it's okay, the dog has attacked the cat. That's a good one. Yeah, so there's got to be a different way. I think instead of just going out and declaring a dog dangerous because it has attacked the cat, they would need to give that owner the time and give her the option of going and training this dog, or trying to get help for this dog, or to understand this dog a little bit better, reassess the dog, and make sure that that owner goes down a path where the dog is going to live a little bit better, rather than just slapping it with a dangerous dog order because it has killed the cat. Obviously, we don't want dogs killing anything, but if that was a cat, if that cat was a rat, nothing would have happened because it's a vermin. What if the rat in question is somebody's pet? Would they still slap it with a dangerous dog order, or would they just say, oh no, it was not a cat, it's not classified, it's classified as a vermin, there is no laws against that? So it's about what the law says and not what is actually right and wrong.
Yeah, not what it is for it is. It's
so
grey area.
That was very sort of. It was really interesting talking to these people as well, because the dogs, they were safely in their cages. The gates were locked with a chain and a lock, and the council multiple locks. The council, when nobody was home, went up, cut the actual chain
off the side gate. Yeah.
Off the side gate, cut the chain, walked in, cut the other lock, and took the dogs and took them down to the pound.
Any warning,
Without any exactly.
No warrants, no warning, no permission.
And the council ranger said to the owner that they actually have the right to do this. No, you don't. You don't. If the door was open, if the gate was open, yeah, fair enough. You would walk into the premises to check on the dogs. I don't believe that. Yeah, they have to sort of notify the owner if they're coming to check on a dangerous dog once they've been declared, to make sure that they're in their cages if they're at home. But cutting a gate, that's forceful entry.
Yeah, that's illegal.
See, you would need a court order to be able to do that. You can't just cut through a chain and walk into somebody's house.
Nope.
And and the council ranger as well, not the police or anybody else, said to the owner, yeah, I'm allowed to do this, it's part of my job. Well, I don't think so. I think that is bullcrap.
That doesn't slide with me, buddy.
No, it doesn't. And if that is the case, I think there's something should be done there, because a squatter in a house...
You can't break a law to enforce a law,
well,
man.
People like this guy that was renting the house and he wouldn't move out. The owners in the real estate had no power to kick the person out. They had to go and call a sheriff with a warrant to get the guy out of there. So how can this council ranger walk onto the property, cut through a chain-locked fence, and take these dogs out of their cage and take them down just so they could slap them with another $8,000 fine?
There's very, very bizarre laws. You look at police. Police can't demand your ID unless they have reasonable suspicion. If a police officer asks you for your ID, you do not have to give it to them. That's a ridiculous law. Because you don't have to. You have rights. Unless they suspect you of having committed a crime, they cannot demand your ID. You can say, I'm being detained. They say no. That's it. They have no power to detain you unless they have reasonable suspicion. And looking like
yeah, but there would have to be some sort of a consequence to that.
Nope. They can't just stop you and demand your ID unless they have reasonable suspicion. That is just a basic right.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that it's different than if you're driving a car and he asks you for your license. you have to present your license because you're driving a vehicle and you have to make
Oh,
sure.
yeah, obviously then, but
So
I mean,
we're
like
talking about
walking
if
on
you're
the
walking
streets.
around the street.
Yeah, he can't just stop you and demand your ID.
Okay.
But obviously in a car because he has to. Then he has a right to check whether you're licensed.
Yeah.
That's or if you're walking around an area and there's been a break-in, they can demand your ID because they can have a reasonable suspicion that you could match the identity. It's just so many laws that are sort of conflicting, and these are it's stupid. They're designed to uphold certain things, but at the same time they let down so many other things.
Yeah. So Puppy Breath asked a question there before. She said, "What do you think about beware of the dog on premises signs at the gate?" Well, funny that we sort of I actually bought this today for a situation like this, and it's just happened. Well, this is another case where it's really, really strange too, because the actual sign says "Beware, dog on premises." If I was to come in on the premises and I did get bitten, and you have one of these dogs outside, one of these signs outside, you can actually get into a lot more trouble
than if you didn't have
than you actually think, because you're already admitting that you have a dangerous dog or a dog that you should be aware of on your premises, which are illegal to have in the first place. So if you do have one of these signs outside your house, even if it's one of those muck-up ones where you've got that dog that you sell, they sell them at Bunnings, they sell them everywhere. You've got this little big bulldog with his growling and he's got this massive collar with the studs on. I would get that off your gate as soon as possible. What you're looking for, it's a sign very similar to this. It says dog on premises. So you're pretty much doing society. Well, you're just helping people understand that there is a dog there. People that are scared, if they want to walk past, they walk past. If they're not, they're not. But having a sign like this can actually get you into a lot more trouble than you think. So beware of the dog on premises. You are admitting that there is a reason that you should be aware of the dog that you have on your premises, and you can actually get into trouble for it.
There was one recently from the council visiting a property, entered it for no reason, and was bitten by the dog. Then the owners...
Yeah, because it only lets you put in, it's like
so many,
Twitter.
So many characters.
140 characters, so it's coming up.
Yeah, so you guys want to look for the ones that just say dog on premises, so you don't want to basically be, I guess, incriminating yourself.
Well, that's exactly right. Why do I need to be aware of...
Exactly. Even if they're like joking ones, anything. If it says beware or anything like that, you can get in trouble.
Yeah.
And if your dogs do escape and you have one of those signs, definitely get in trouble.
Yeah. So it is, look, it's always a touchy little feeling, but yeah. Yeah, well, it is. It's true, definitely true about the sign. It's a silly law to have. The fact that you have to, like, you don't necessarily have to have a sign on your door. And here comes the rain.
It might get hard to hear us in a minute.
So somebody call Marge. The rains are here.
She's on the roof. Get off the dang roof.
Yeah. The owners were fined. Okay, that's the other part of that the message. There was one recent about somebody from the council visiting a property, entered it for no reason, and was bitten by the dog.
Yep,
and then the owners were fined.
That's exactly it.
Well, that's it.
It's similar to the burglar or the guy that shot the dog.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right.
Very similar.
The guy shoots the dog repeatedly with a pellet gun while the dog was chained up inside a secured fence.
In its own yard.
In its own yard. Walks in, gets bitten on the butt.
And then sues and wins.
Sues them and gets $14,500 plus medical expenses. And the reason why he didn't get more is because the judge thought that the dog might have been provoked.
I'm going to go with, I think the dog was provoked, man. Yeah.
Yeah, Renee.
I thought you were giving the camera a filthy then, like, really?
Yeah. Yeah, these things with the signs, mate, they're very tricky. They're really sneaky. Because, think about it. Beware. You're admitting that there's a reason why people should be aware of your dog on your premises.
In Queensland, you have to provide a safe entrance to your front door by law.
Oh, wow. Well, I didn't know that.
I don't think that's law in New South Wales, is it?
No, New South Wales has a lot of strange little quirky laws, but I didn't know that.
Yeah,
so you have to provide a safe entrance to your front door by law. Now,
I'm guessing that means don't have any, like, it's just got to be either a straight sort of walkway or there can't be animals in there. I mean, I don't know.
Or maybe something blocking the path. But then again, you see, I would like to sort of see what constitutes a safe entrance. What if there is steps there and somebody slips over them, or just slips over a step going up and down?
Exactly.
It's it's always good to know as much as you possibly can about, I guess, the law and all that. But
especially those quirky laws, because somehow they'll always come back and you go, I knew that.
So it's true about that, Quinn, especially on garbage day.
Wow.
For people having to come to your front door in a safe manner. Well, this is really, it's a good...
I actually read, where was it, somewhere about posties having to do courses about having to deal with dogs.
Well, that I think that's a very good thing.
Postmen having to do courses. The new posties actually do a lot of courses. I didn't read right into it. I sort of missed it. Doing courses about how to deal with sort of either aggressive dogs or dogs that chase them. All that kind of stuff, like how to not, I guess, provoke a dog or how to sort of diffuse a situation if something arises. I'll definitely do some more looking into that, and we can have
I wonder if part of those courses was carry a bone with you. If a dog chases you, throw the bone out and start running.
Yeah, well, actually, there's a video on YouTube of a postman that he posted it up because he thought it was pretty cool. He posted his route, and every single house he went to had a dog, and he knew every dog by name, and he gave every dog a treat. And it was just pretty interesting, you know. Every dog was like, as soon as he gave him a treat.
Yeah, well, that would be a good way of, I guess. I think that's something that the owners could sort of take a little bit of time and sort of introducing the dog to the postman.
Yeah, it was funny because he's riding along with his GoPro on, and he's like, okay, this one will be George. George will bark at me, but once I get to the gate, he'll stop. You know, like he knew every single dog. He knew every dog's quirk. He took that time. He didn't just go, oh my god, you know.
Yeah.
Man took his wife out.
But that would actually go, like that thing with the postman, that's probably like, that would be a good idea. Especially if it's in a sort of in a little town or a little tight-knit community where everybody knows each other. The postman probably lives in the same town. They know each other. Man, you'd spark up a big barbie and you just sort of invite the postie around. The guy would be eating for free.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
That would be a good...
Until he brings you bills.
Yeah.
That week he doesn't get invited, but every other week.
He brings the bills around, mate. You just unleash the dogs on him.
Roger's not so happy today, mate. Yeah,
that would actually be a good idea.
I'll actually have to try and find the video and we can post it up on the Facebook or something.
Because that would be good. Well, that's something that I think that the council should get involved.
Yeah, definitely.
Educating
the more education for everyone, anyone that comes, even couriers and stuff. Because I remember my dad telling me years and years ago when he'd just got with my mum, so he was probably about 20 at the time. He came home and there was a guy standing on the front porch with his boxer at the time, which was named Bella, sitting at the front door, not just sitting there looking at the guy. And he goes, "Oh, thank God you're here." And Dad said, "Oh, what's up? What's up?" He goes, "I've been here for 2.5 hours. Dog wouldn't let him out. He just didn't know what to do." It was, the dog wasn't aggressive. It just wouldn't let him out. So it was interesting.
Renee, good question. You can get signs that says dogs on premises. And those are the signs that I would actually have.
Yeah. Where's that sign go?
Oh, the sign is just here, right here.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of saying beware of the dog, it just says dog on premises.
Yeah, that one.
You can get them. If you're looking for them, you can get them. There is some signs as well. There's one that was sent out to me as a joke. It says, if you can't run with the big boys, then stay outside the gate. My dog can get to the gate in 3 seconds, can you? The best one that I've found out there was, don't worry about the dog, mind the owner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What is my mum's got one that says something about watch the craziness, and then it's got a picture of a dog, and then it goes, no, I mean the kids. Yeah.
So, yeah, look, there is a lot of different stories out there. There's a lot of interesting stories out there when it comes to laws, when it comes to people getting bitten by a dog. There's examples that have been seen here in the chat where there's the council people have gone onto the property and have been bitten by the dog, and the owners have been fined. Why was this person on my property in the first place? And if you take that to a court, or if you were to take that anywhere whatsoever, unless you actually had a chain that closes your gate, somebody can actually walk onto your property in certain states in certain ways without them getting into trouble, or without them sort of... but if there is an actual chain and a lock on your gate, they're not allowed to trespass. So that's why when we go back to the lady with the 2 huskies that were declared dangerous, and that the council ranger had broke in by cutting the chain and taken the dogs just so they could slap them with another fine. We got the lady, we told her to just sort of have a chat to a solicitor or a lawyer or somebody, because they don't have a right. If the gate was unlocked, there was no chain, all right, fair enough. They walked in thinking that people would be at the back, but there is a chain. You forcefully cut that to walk in. It's really, really nice.
See what Annalise said?
No.
There's a story about a Queensland man that took his wife out to dinner, I think she said. I'll scroll up a little bit. Anyway,
scroll up a little.
Yeah, so early 1980s, the man took his wife out to dinner. His Doberman was inside in the house. Came home, opened the front door, and his dog was vomiting. The wife rushed the dog upstairs. To the vet. Upstairs was a burglar who had broken in the bedroom window. The dog flattened him, and the burglar was bleeding on the white carpet. The owner sued the burglar for breaking into bleeding on the carpet and making his Doberman sick.
Well, so he should.
Keep going down.
And you'd think that
You would hope he would win.
Well, you'd think that the Doberman was vomiting. I think it's because he didn't have the taste for junk food.
Yeah, well, that's who knows.
You know, so it's
Kerry said that she was standing outside with a very placid dog. When the poster came up, he looked scared, so I said she was friendly, and then she attacked the bike.
Oh no,
that's one way to make you eat your words, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, she's friendly.
Yeah, it's alright. She doesn't want to have to go after you. It's just the bike that she's into. But yeah, that's probably that's not going to go well down with that postman. He's not going to trust that dog.
He definitely thinks you're a liar. You'll just be lobbing them from now on.
Yes. Well, that's it. That's it's a funny story, but well, I wonder if that the owners of the Doberman, if you know, Annalise, if they actually won.
That'd be good
if they actually won the court case, and if the burglar, what had happened to him? Like, did he get jail time or stuff? Obviously, of course, it's a long time ago in the 80s. I don't know if this kid was even around back then.
89, mate. I spent about 31 days in the 80s.
Did you?
Oh, great time.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, they won.
Good time in the 80s, wasn't it?
The 80s?
Blast.
You were in there for 30 seconds, mate.
30 days, mate.
30 days.
It was a good time.
Yeah, poor Posty never trusted her again. Yeah.
Would you?
No, I wouldn't. No, it's,
no, she's friendly. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's funny. But you know what the thing is, say, like, alright, so the postman would not trust at all. Like, you get people that get bitten by dogs, and they usually have a lot of issues or troubles understanding or trusting a dog.
Yeah.
I think because of the way I'd obviously been brought up around dogs as a kid, Dad had hundreds of dogs, like, well, not literally hundreds of dogs, but we had about 30 or 40 dogs at one time, because they did exactly what we do for a living. I did get bitten a fair bit when I was a kid, mate. I think every year I would get bitten about 10, 12 times. At least once a month I would get bitten by a dog. Not my dogs, other people's dogs. Never once did it cross my mind that the dog was bad or anything. I just
happened.
Accepted the situation, and I knew that that's what dogs did. And I don't understand why we don't have that, how that is. I don't know whether it's just me, the way that I was brought up, being around the dogs and the understanding that I had of dogs at such a young age, but it was just easy for me to just move on to cop it.
Where did that happen go?
But it didn't necessarily stop me. Obviously, as a kid, it didn't stop me from going back there. I remember there was these people, and I knew they were guard dogs. I knew that these German Shepherds in this house were guard dogs. We were playing football. I kicked the ball all over, so I jumped the fence. And I got bitten.
Good.
I got bitten by a massive Rottweiler. It was a guard dog.
German Shepherd.
Sorry, the German Shepherd. No, but there was the 2 German Shepherds and there was the Rottweiler. I got bitten by the Rottweiler.
That would have been unfortunate.
I never even got to put my feet down onto the ground, and I was stuck on the actual fence, and I walked myself back up there. But it was just so natural. It's what dogs did. Back then, people didn't look at it as if the dog was vicious. The dog was just doing a job, and it was a lot more acceptable.
The dog was sick because he had the man's finger stuck in his throat. The burglar broke in.
No wonder it was vomiting.
They won.
No wonder it was vomiting. That's a really interesting story. That's
He won. Good on him.
Yeah.
Good.
Just gotta hope that his finger was never. They couldn't reattach it.
You'd hope not.
You're
Yeah,
like-
we're seeing them. They're filtering through slowly. Yeah. The chat's been a bit slow tonight. I'm not sure why it's not updating straight away for some reason.
Yeah. No, but that was a very interesting story there. That
Experience, I bet.
Doberman. That was pretty cool.
Definitely. It'd be.
So,
Imagine that, breaking in and just instantly knowing this is not going to end well. When there's just a Doberman there and you just, regardless of whether it's aggressive or not aggressive, you've broken into a house and you're standing there looking at it and going,
But not just that. You imagine coming face to face with a Doberman in a house.
I want to know, right? What goes through someone's head when either whoever it is says stop or I'll release the dog? At what point do you go, you know what? I feel good today. I stretched. I can outrun this dog. No. No. No.
Mate, maybe the guy thinks of himself as a little bit...
You're not Usain Bolt. It's not going to happen.
Or maybe he's...
By the time you've gone, okay, this is a bad idea, that dog has got a hold of your leg or your arm and you're on the ground. Watch. Ready? And I'm on the ground. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
What has to go through your head? How much trouble can you possibly be in? Like, if they say stop or I'll release the dog, I'm as good as captured.
Yeah.
I'll make them breakfast for the next 3 weeks. Don't let go of that dog. No. What?
You gonna make people breakfast?
Hey,
They're better off getting beaten by a dog, mate.
they'd probably release the dog after I made the breakfast. There you go.
I would,
Here's what I was going to do in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
What? Stop or we'll release the dog. Nope. Nope. Most definitely not.
So anyway, guys, look, it's been an interesting subject tonight.
It's generated some good interest, good opinions.
Yeah, it was good to see what people actually had to say. Very unfortunate for those people that wish that the dog were put down because they were vicious and all that sort of stuff. The one guy there with those weird comments that he should probably keep to himself, Warren Taylor, I believe that was his name or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, it's unfortunate event, guys. There's not much that control anybody could have had over a situation like this. There's a lot to take into consideration. I think we need to sometimes forgive and forget and move on.
I think that's definitely it.
Yeah, the owner, if they have indeed put the dog down, it was their choice. Obviously, we need to accept that and let that happen. As much as it's painful and hurtful and as much as we don't want to see a dog get put down. But if that's a choice that they have made, we need to accept it.
It is what it is.
That's exactly right. Definitely the parents of the little girl that got bitten.
It's horrible. She's going to have one arm for the rest of her life. But
you just got to
It is
hope
what it
that
is.
has not put her off being around dogs.
Yeah,
Because
I
they are
hope she
such
can-
amazing animals, and
yeah, hopefully she can understand.
you'd
At
want
some
them. Yeah,
point.
you'd want her to sort of live her life. Not to go through her life without a dog, because they say a lot of times
Let me see what.
that they feel sorry for a dog without a home, and I feel sorry for the homes without a dog. It's there's nothing like it.
Yeah, Kerry, I definitely wouldn't take on a Malinois either.
Oh no,
Nope. See, that's what I mean. At what point? I'm going to stop or release the dog. All right. Cool.
yeah,
Do you want me to do anything else? Yes, sir. No, sir. 3 bags more, sir. And climb the tree right at the front.
oh that's exactly. Yeah, it's well, that's it. That's exactly right, Kerry, as you just said there. Most people that commented don't have much of an idea of exact circumstances.
Unfortunately, a lot of people just want to either sort of say something and be seen as like, oh no, it's such a shocking event. It's not really a genuine input. You know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah.
just like saying, like, that's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible, but you're just saying it for no real reason. You're not actually benefiting from it. You're not being, conductive in any way. It is what it is. And the more people that keep, I mean, even the trolls that are on there, the more people that feed those trolls, the worse it's going to get. You just got to, it is what it is.
Yeah,
And until people sort of accept that and keep throwing fuel on the fire, it's going to keep spiraling out of control. And if unfortunately something does happen like this again in the sort of the near future, it's just going to blow up that much worse.
Yeah.
It just needs to be. It is what it is.
Forgive and forget with this one.
That's
This
it.
is a situation
It's
we
a
just
dog, not a
gotta,
shark.
just gotta move on.
Definitely. We were kids with a German Shepherd. Ooh, jumped in the fence to get his ball.
So when we were a kid, we had a German Shepherd, and when we went home, and the kid next door jumped our fence to go and get his ball. Yeah.
This sounds familiar, mate. Jumped the fence to get his ball with a German Shepherd.
This was in Sicily, mate. When I arrived,
Yeah,
that child that Renee's talking about was definitely not me. No, mate, I was in Sicily, buddy.
Yeah, well, this is deja vu anyway.
And I've still got the
Don't
bite.
let him in, but when he got bitten on the found out at a makeup party weeks on.
Oh, nice. And that's exactly where I got bitten, on the butt. And I've still got the scar.
Yeah, I don't want to say that. Not interested.
No, that's fine, mate. I'm not going to show you. You'll be fine. Yes.
Could live without that one.
So, yeah. And there's mistakes that us humans make. It's sad. It's sad. We make mistakes. Jump the fence to go and get a ball. There was a dog in there.
Oops.
And it's, mate, it's the screwed up part of it all as well, when it was like with me, is that I knew that the dogs were there and I still went in. It's just there. Kids sometimes, it doesn't matter how much you watch them or how much you tell them. When it came to dogs, I had a lot of education on how to approach a dog and how to do things with dogs, but yeah.
Sitting there watching, he was crying, so go home and tell your mum what you did. Made him sit in a tree for 2 hours. That's brutal.
Yeah, well, we would have taught him a lesson, but maybe he did.
You won't
maybe
do that
he didn't.
again.
No, who knows?
Not
Mate,
to that dog.
Nah, mate, kids are kids, buddy. It's I wouldn't be surprised.
Ready? This time I got it. You don't got it. No, I got this.
Yeah, no.
You don't got this.
Yeah, well, just like Renee said too. Yeah, it was different back then when the media was a lot different with this.
Remember, can you tell you the balls and stuff? Had to put padlocks on the gates. Unfortunately, as a die-hard football player, padlocks wouldn't have stopped me.
Yeah, well,
If
that's
I
it.
kick my ball over your fence, I'm coming to get it.
Yeah.
I would climb a telegraph pole and onto your roof if I had to get it. But that's just, I'm sure you're the same.
No, I think there's a lot of kids out there that would be exactly the same.
Football.
And if the dogs did end up sort of, because if you look at it that way, I'm sure there is a lot of people out there that could sort of concur with this or could sort of vouch for things like this that have happened, or maybe it has happened to them, where kids or neighbours get the ball, it ends up in their backyard. They've got the dogs. The dogs might bark. The kids get a little bit scared, and all of a sudden they start throwing rocks and bricks at the dogs to get them away.
Make it worse and worse.
And make it worse. And these dogs develop that fear
That love
of
that.
humans, that when somebody gets close to the fence, they get things thrown at them or noises, and the kids might start poking sticks through the fences, making the dog's behaviour worse and worse. And if something was to happen and then the kid gets bitten,
also-
the dog's going to get put down. But there's a lot of this goes on and on.
Also, there's a lot of peer pressure, like where I played football up the mountains for many, many years, they used to back onto sort of a lot of houses. And when you kick the ball, if you miss the goals, it was in a backyard with a huge husky. Big. Actually, I think it might have been a Malamute. I was very young at the time, so I can't really remember. But
Probably a Chihuahua, mate.
yeah, probably. But the owner of that house had been there before the football fields. So he got so fed up with balls coming in his backyard, he would never kick them back. Ever. He had about 30 in there at one point. And this dog didn't destroy him. He just would sit there and not let anyone in the yard. And it just kind of got to the point where the peer pressure was like, you'd have no balls left, so someone had to run the gauntlet. So someone would jump in, run, throw as many balls back over as they could, and run and dive over the fence before the dog got them. I don't even think this dog was aggressive. It's just one of those things, Like, if that dog had bitten me or bitten someone else, that's not the dog's fault.
No.
I'm the stupid kid jumping the fence. I mean, sure, the owner could have thrown one of the 50 balls back. Would have been nice, but,
Yeah, so the neighbours' kids was forever jumping into the yard to get the balls, and they put the padlocks on to stop them. The dogs were fine, But still, it just goes to show that the kids don't even get the message
Yeah, well,
that was passed on. And you see what she wrote down there? Samson was shot at by a toy bow and arrow.
By those kids too.
But the kids.
Those kids sound like menaces.
Not just that, it's just the fact that it's just a kid. It's
The Sandlot kids. Yeah, pretty much. Have you seen The Sandlot?
No.
It's a story of a bunch of kids that play baseball. And then, like, obviously, they're playing the Sandlot, and they hit the ball over this fence, and there's a dog in there that is, I can't remember what it's called, the Beast or something, and all these sort of myths about the dog, it eats kids, if you go over that fence, you never come back, and how they go on, they hit their last ball over there, and it's signed by Babe Ruth, which was a famous baseball player, and the kid has to get the ball back, so they come up with all these crazy, wacky ways to try and get the ball back, and at the very end, the kid just jumps the fence, and ends up grabbing the ball and runs off, and then in the end, you find out that the dog is actually fine. Nothing wrong with the aggressive dog. It's a lot better than that, but that's sort of the plot summary.
Mate, you ruined this movie. I don't think I want to watch this movie just because of you.
Yeah, it's definitely an 8 out of 10. But I mean, it probably got described as a 3 out of 10. Good movie. I might watch that tonight.
Yeah, so it's been really interesting.
It's been good.
Yeah, it's probably about 9 o'clock.
9:07.
Nice. All right, ladies and gents. Well, this is where we're going to pull the plug on this show for tonight. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. This has been recorded, so we will post this again. If anybody wanted to watch it or share it, we'll be back on Friday night with the CBE show. We got a bit of a few things to sort of discuss. There is a person who wants to talk about their dog was left at a daycare centre somewhere in Sydney, and the dog died. She just wants the truth to see exactly what's happened to this dog. There is talk about the e-collars as well that we posted on there. What the people thought, and
talk about a person who brutally tortured and killed an animal and the sentence he received.
Yes.
Won't go into it too much, but yeah, that'll definitely be a hot topic.
Yeah, so we'll have a good chat. We're reviewing a few dog gadgets as well. And on Friday night we usually have our usual question and answers with the fans.
Yeah, call in, etc., etc.
So if you do guys have any questions that you would like us to answer on the show, questions about your dog's behavior or just questions about dogs in general, feel free to send them to the CBE Talk. I think it's called. Well, I can't even remember my own email address. This is good.
CBE Talk Show.
No, it's contact@cbetalkshow.com. It's our email address. Or if you just go to the website, cbetalkshow.com. If you want to send us emails about anything that you want to know, we'll be happy to answer them on the night.
You just call up and say.
Yeah, there's always that calling button and all that.
Don't be shy. We're all friends here.
So, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you very shortly. We'll be back tomorrow during the day with the rehabilitation, live stream rehab that we usually do. So the talk shows is on a Wednesday and a Friday night, but other times when we do stream, we are just streaming dog rehabilitation. So tomorrow night we'll try and get Billy and the two boys on, and we'll go from there. But yeah, we are live during the day as well. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you very soon. Peace.